Okay, and so this is the Mindful Traders Academy trading journal. If you haven't already downloaded it, you can find it on the website. There will be a link in the YouTube video down below. I use this journal myself for tracking my performance, my accuracy, and just getting an overall idea of how well I'm doing trading. It's a really powerful way to journal because it doesn't just look at your win percentage, your risk rewards. It focuses pretty heavily on your accuracy and your performance. So I'm just going to go through real quickly and explain it, and then I'm going to populate it with some pure made up example trades to show what it looks like. So we have some pretty basic columns. I'm going to go through the blank ones first. You have the date, pretty self-explanatory, the stock, futures, forex pair, whatever it would be. You change these as you like. Long or short, time of entry, and then your entry, your risk, and your exit. I keep this fairly simple. There probably are, well, there are ways of making this more complex. I've got other journals that are more complex, and I'm sure that you can figure out how to do that. I like just keeping it pretty straightforward. I don't really need to know extra info. This is just the basic trade. And then we have our accuracy column, and I use this in a fairly black and white way. If I executed the trade perfectly, I'm going to give myself a 1. If I executed really poorly, it's a 0. If I execute and I feel like I followed my plan, but there was something off, maybe I didn't like a certain element of the trades, and although I executed it fairly well, it could be better, or one where I go, I actually followed my strategy perfectly, but it felt wrong, I'm going to give myself around about 0.5. We then have the grade, and I grade my trades A, B, or C. Again, A is perfect. C is, this is a mistake I've made in the past, and I should be able to, or I'm aiming to not make that mistake. And then B is, I've never made this mistake before, and it's new to me, or this feels off, or I executed well, but the strategy felt wrong in this particular moment. So essentially you're looking at it as A's are your perfect examples, C's are what you're working on right now and are known problems, and then B's are where you can sort of like explore and find where you can make improvements to your strategy and find those new problems before they become big issues. I then have a column for mistake notes. This is just somewhere where I like to write down kind of like what I'm thinking during the trade, what I thought afterwards. If it's a mistake, I really want to make sure I put in thoughts like, I got FOMO here because I was down on a previous trade and I wanted to make more and I saw this could go, so I thought I'm not going to miss this one, I'm going to take it, whatever it might be. The rest of the document is auto-filled, so this column here essentially just puts in a 1 if it's a if there's something in this column. This is just so that I can calculate pretty quickly how many trades I've got. The P&L is done in R's. Again, you can change this around, but the R P&L I like because it takes away the actual dollar amount. It's helpful when you have this and the risk is fairly similar in each trade, but obviously it's not always the case. It might be a case of you say I'm going to risk $1 here, but your actual dollar risk is $50 on every trade, or maybe you want to make it $50 on your A plus and 25 on your C, or whatever it might be. So that's going to just calculate the P&L. There's 2 columns because one throws up this error, so this pretty much just makes it a 0 when there is an error. Win or loss, if it's a win it gives a 1, if it's a loss it gives it a 0. And again, same thing right now, this is showing an error because there's an error in this cell, so that's why that is. And then over here, this is the accuracy tracker, the accuracy target, and the P&L tracker. You can check out another video I've made on a spreadsheet where I actually show how you can calculate how much accuracy you need for your strategy to be successful, and you can set yourself targets, and even if you don't, you can set yourself a baseline target. I've put 70% here. I always target 80 as a baseline for myself, but 70 I just put in on this one. And then essentially what this part of the spreadsheet is going to do is it's going to be tracking your accuracy for the last 10 trades, so you can get a pretty good feedback on what your current performance is. And this P&L tracker just tracks your P&L over time so that we can put it in, look at a graph form. The statistics that this picks up, winners, losers, average win, average loss, win percentage, risk reward, they're whatever. They're important in the sense that you can at least see they're kind of like the results of good performance. So it's good to compare over time, but I wouldn't really use them to adjust anything. Your accuracy percentage, and then this is kind of where it gets a bit more interesting. It's going to track how often your trades are A, B, or C, so you can get a very quick idea of how rarely you're taking A grade trades or how frequently you're taking C grade trades. Then I have a couple of charts here. One tracks P&L, which is pretty straightforward, and the other is the accuracy with the target. So I'm just going to populate this real quick with some trades that I've completely made up, and I'm going to go through how it looks, and I'm also going to show how to add an image to the chart. So as you can see, these are completely made up, stock ABC, long, shorts, same day and everything. But you can see that now we've populated this with 33 trades, we can begin to see some statistics. And over this sample I've made up, we can see that we've taken 33 trades, the win percentage at 48.5%, our risk reward is 1.13, average win is 1.63, average loss 1.44, and our total profit in this made up sample are actually up 1.5R. Now that's great, and I think where people will begin to kind of like go wrong when they're just using this data alone is they'd look at their risk reward and go, I need to improve on my risk reward. And then they would try to hold winners for longer. Well, that might actually destroy your win percentage and completely ruin your overall slight profitability. Instead, we want to find out where we can make improvements. And we can see that the accuracy is only at 59%, which, being brutally honest, is probably about the level most traders need to be at to be around about break even or very, very slightly profitable. So we now want to drill down and see where that is. And we can see through our tracker here that the A, B, and C trades is really telling, and that even though our C grade trades in this sample, and this is not very reflective of a losing trader of where most people are at, but in this sample we can see that just 27% of trades are costing 19R. That's a pretty significant amount to be losing. B grade trades, there isn't very many of them. P&L isn't that much, and we can see if we just took only A grade trades, we'd be up 23R, which is an awesome return. So this is where you can begin to actually jump in and find the mistakes. So that's why this is so powerful. I'm quickly going to show you how you can add a picture in here. I tend to like adding pictures or screenshots of my trades. The way you do this on this version of Excel, I'm pretty sure it's the same in all versions. You go onto the cell, I'm going to use the exit one. You right click and you go down to insert comment. When that comment then comes up, you're going to hover over until the mouse does this, which is around the corners. You're going to right click again. You're going to go to format comment. And then when this box comes up, you're going to go over to colors and lines. You're going to head over to this column drop down menu. You come down to fill effects. And now we can see this tab here, picture, and select picture. And I'm going to do it from file, and then all you have to do is find the screenshot that you saved. So I'm just going to pick a random one here. Doesn't really matter what we do. We'll just pop this in here. So here's our picture now, and to make that bigger, I hold down the shift key to make it keep the same ratios, drag it out, and there we have a picture of this trade. Now the cool thing with this is we can decide that we want to have a look at our A grade trades and say, okay, what was so good about this? And we hover over it and we can see the trade immediately. This, I think, is a really powerful use of Excel when using a trading journal, because you can populate this with every single one of your trades, and as a result you can go through and get a visual representation of every trade that you've taken. So let's now have a look at the graphs real quick, and the cool thing is overall we're only very slightly profitable, and again, if you would just look at this as a sample you wouldn't be all that happy, but what you can see is you can actually track the accuracy performance and your overall performance, and we can see that currently we're actually trading at a pretty decent level at that sort of like between 65 and 75% accuracy, it looks like. And that's been going on for at least the last 10 trades. We're at 70 for the last 10, and we can come over to here and see that it's actually been quite a while that we've been in this area. And that's actually reflected in the P&L. And I really like using these two together, because sometimes when you see just that number of only being up a small amount is really disheartening, or if you're down a large amount, it can be disheartening, or whatever it might be. But you can begin to compare, and you can see when we hit this sort of like decent level of accuracy, about 0.17, we can find 0.17, which is here. And we can see that around that time was when we actually made this turnaround. And by the time we got to where we were actually trading at our kind of like target level around about 18, well, we were at that point, this was, you know, kind of the bottom of our chart, and we began to turn it around. Now, this is, again, I've completely made these up, so it's not a very good representation, but you can get the idea of how beneficial this can be. Now, one thing I really like to do is when I'm reviewing trades, I'm going to want to figure out where my mistakes are. And this is nice to have it like this, but I actually prefer to sort these. I will say that when you do this, it will obviously kind of ruin the document very slightly. But what I will do is I'll highlight these. I'll come over here. I'll go to sort, custom sort. It's going to be by column R, or in this instance, just going to say A. And from that, I'm just going to go order A to Z. And now we can see our A grade trades and our B grade trades. And the reason this is so powerful, first of all, I mean, you can go over and begin to see that this is my A grade trades. This is how profitable I would be if I'm trading at my best all the time. And then this is what my C grade trades are really doing. But what we can very quickly do is get a visual representation of what our mistakes look like. So we can pull out these C grade trades. I'll just put in a line here. Do it on this side actually. Okay, and we can now pull these out and actually begin to get an idea of where our mistakes are. This is a lot of what I do with my clients, and I'm going to look through these and go, okay, what is our most common mistake? FOMO, didn't make enough on previous trades when I wanted more. Held a loser, my last trade was a loss, I'm frustrated. Boredom trades, nothing happening today. Frustration, I've missed a winning trade, now I'm trying to make up for it. Frustration, down a lot, went to make it back. Held a loser, the last trade was lost, frustrating, and so on. And we can begin to see a bit of a pattern here that the mistakes are being driven by the feeling of I'm down, I'm losing money, or I haven't made as much money as I have. So you can then use that, and very quickly, within a few seconds, realistically, you can group together your worst trades, figure out what that recurring flaw is, and then go and try to resolve it. You can also look through the B grade stuff and see the same kind of thing. We can see that there's a few that are showing that I'm not sure if it's a clear setup. FOMO's jumping in a little bit, cutting a bit too quickly. So you get different levels of mistakes, and this is then where you can then focus your improvements on. Now I've actually set this up so that you can almost visualize what it would look like over a long period of time if you make those improvements. Early on, the first 19 trades or so, the accuracy level is pretty horrible, and if we remove these trades real quick, just to give you an idea of what it would look like maybe before we've made any improvements, this is pretty similar to what I see with a lot of clients. Maybe the B grade trades are a little bit low, but quite often people come in and half of their trades suck. They're trades they know they shouldn't be taking, and then the A and the B might be switched around, where it's like a lot of the trades they're not sure on, and then some they know are perfect. Now we can see that in this trader might have then made an effort to make a lot of improvements, and then this is unlikely to happen immediately, but you can see that improvement. So this is how I use my journal. It's available to download if you haven't got it already on my site. Check out the link for that in the YouTube comment, or in the description. And if you have downloaded it, really hope you use it and find a way to benefit from it. I would say, just as a quick thing, that I normally end up hiding these just to make it a little bit easier to view, so we don't have loads of numbers we don't need, even the accuracy targets. Just be careful when you're, say, wiping data. If you want to start over or have a fresh one, if you do something like this, then this code is obviously not going to work. So what I would suggest is that when you save this, is to actually keep a blank copy, so that if it does go wrong, if you accidentally delete a load of stuff and you don't know where it is, you can just open up a new one. So always keep a blank one available. And yeah, Hope you enjoy using it. I hope you get some benefit from it. And definitely check out the accuracy calculator, which is another one of the resources as well.